Welcome to Quarter Hour. This is where we mend walls and create safe communities. On Quarter Hour, we discuss all things lifestyle, family, nation building, everyday issues, and of course, everything about you.
It's Quarter Hour show, and this is where the ladies come together and we talk about mending walls and creating safe communities. So like I said, it's a beautiful moment again, and I'm so excited about today because we'll be having a guest, with us, and she'll be doing justice to a particular subject that quite a lot of people wonder, that how do you balance work and life? A lot of people have crumbled under the pressure of working, that they don't even have a life of their own. And we also have some people that they have tilted to the other side. All what they just want to do is just enjoy life and nothing about their work, nothing that you can actually talk about to say, oh, they have done something wonderful about themselves. So we have an advocate here with us today who will be taking us through work-life balance. And it's my pleasure to introduce Temitope Omohalen. And she obtained her master's in physiology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and has some certifications in developmental psychology and social psychology, of course, from the University of Queensland, Australia, and in emotional management from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, USA. She's also an alumni of the Mentoring for Women in Business program of the Jabbar Foundation for Women, United Kingdom. Temitope is the managing partner of T-Sage and Tibor Consult. It's a family and workplace wellness consulting firm that curates wellness, wholeness, and winning experiences for families and corporate organizations. So Temitope, I want to welcome you specially to the Quarter Hour show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
We just hit the road running. The quote that I saw somewhere, it says, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. So Temitope, just tell us, what does this mean? What exactly are you trying to tell us?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I completely agree with your quote. It is very, very accurate. In this dispensation where the economy is collapsing and we need to put in more time at work to get more money, to run the family, to run the home is beginning to suffer. And then there are those on the other end who are pouring their all into family. Their heart desires to work, but they can't because they have to focus on family. So both extreme is what I'm going to be talking about today.
I'm curious that how did you find your passion here? How did you find your passion here?
My journey started as a very, very young girl. I think my memory of how this started begins from age 12. I grew up feeling unloved. I felt my dad preferred I have a younger brother, an immediate younger brother. I felt my dad preferred my younger brother to myself. And so I became so needy of love, needy of attention, and I wasn't getting it. I tried to become a tomboy, get my dad's attention. That, okay, maybe if I look like a boy or behave like a boy, he's going to love me and all, but nothing happened. And it took me on a very terrible journey where I ended up working in an organization I should not even have had any business with, where my boss was beating me.
Wow, interesting. That's a toxic environment.
An extremely toxic environment. And I wasn't even the only one going through it. But at the time, I didn't understand it because my mentality was already shaped by my growing up experience. It reminds me of a quote from David Richo. He said, the untreated traumas of childhood become the frustrating dramas of adulthood. Wow. That was basically my life at the time. And so after years of going through rehabilitation to heal from all of that trauma, I realized that it wasn't that my dad did not love me. He actually did. The problem was there was basically an imbalance, right? He never had the opportunity to be raised by his mother.
Wow.
And his dad was hardly ever around. So basically, he did not receive love while growing up. And there was no way to give what he did not have. He loved us, but did not know how to express it. Right? And then my mom, who happened to be a nurse at that time, was just starting her career, so she was hardly at home. So we all had to deal with my dad. Then we used to call my dad a terror.
Wow,
So that was my. So when I to a point of healing, we started T-Sage and Tibble Consult to reach out to adolescents themselves. We didn't originally start out with workplace wellness. We started out with family wellness. We were just reaching out to adolescents. We were going to schools, talking to adolescents, showing them the physiology and psychology behind why they behave the way they do. We'd go to PTA meetings to talk to parents about parenting in the 21st century. That was how we started. And then in the course of that journey, we found out that if the home front is not secure, it's going to affect workplace productivity. And if workplace productivity is affected, it's going to cause a negative cycle that will still come back to further damage the home front. And so when we looked at it, we found out that, a lot of these people are dealing with work-life imbalance. And we were like, okay, let's go for it. We have the skill, we have the experience. Why not let's venture into this? And that's how we ventured into workplace wellness. And then we combined workplace and family wellness. So that's how we started. That's the journey. It's summarized version.
I'm telling you, this journey is exciting for me. And the fact that your place of pain is what you are now using to heal people. All right, now, so Temitope, so tell us, work-life balance. What are you trying to tell us?
Thank you very much. My message with work-life balance in one sentence is that there's a bridge between work and family life. There's a bridge between work and life generally. And if that bridge is not properly understood, there will be a breakdown in a dimension of wellness that will cause a negative ripple effect on one's life. What do I mean? If there's a breakdown, say, at the workplace, let's assume that I worked in a toxic environment, something else is going to happen to you, not just at the workplace. You're going to start having physical breakdown. That's a breakdown in the physical wellness dimension. You're going to start falling sick, having migraines, you're not going to be sleeping well. You're going to have emotional breakdown, which is the emotional dimension of wellness. You're going to be overthinking, right? Those things will happen. Your emotions will become so terrible. You're not going to be in a happy place, if I should borrow that word. That's not all. There's going to be a breakdown in your social life, which is the social dimension of the wellness circle. It will be difficult for you to relate with others outside of the workplace. And humans are designed as social creatures. When that happens, you're in serious trouble, because that was one major thing I experienced. I was alienated from everybody, so no one really knew what I was going through. It took, I basically say that my life was just a miracle, because it was basically a miracle that pulled me out of that environment. Otherwise, that's where I probably still would have been. So the message with work-life balance is, there's a notion that one ought to spend equal amounts of time at work and at home. We debunk it. Completely debunk that truth. It's basically impossible to spend equal time and equal attention at work and at home. It's possible. And so when we approach work-life balance from that place of looking for balance, literally, there will always be failure. And because of that failure, some people will just get to a point where they believe that this thing is not attainable. And so we measure work-life balance in three major ways: time, attention, and values. We call it the VAT yardstick. So time is the first one. How do you measure work-life balance in terms of time? Some of us work in an environment where, especially in Lagos, where you have to leave home at probably 4 a.m. just to make it to work for 8. And then you leave work at 6, you're not going to get home until 11 p.m. For someone like that, what do you say? Are we saying that person can never experience work-life balance? So there's in the coaching session we'll be having, there's actually a time management exercise that the ladies are going to undergo to actually see what dimension of their time is either being wasted or is being overused and needs to be revisited. So that's the time yet.
On time, because I heard you say that you will make them go through the exercise of time. Yes. I am wondering, in basic terms, how do I manage time? Because, we keep talking about manage your time. And I think that is what you're saying.
I'll just give everyone listening an assignment. Get a sheet of paper.
Okay.
When you wake up, divide that paper into 12 hours. So you do, if you wake up at 5, begin at 5. You say 5 to 6 a.m., 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Make it in 1 hour time block portions, right? When you do that, between 5 and 6 that you are awake, once it's 6 a.m., just look back. Between 5 and 6, what exactly did I do? Jot it down. Between 6 and 7, look back. What exactly did I do? Jot it down. Just take one day to do that, because it's something. There are people who can do it for a week just to, have a control time management and look at it from the beginning of the week to the end of the week and compare.
This is
for those who
interesting. So when you do this, yes, how do you evaluate yourself? Do you go back to say, okay, these areas that I think I wasted my time at this hour, should I readjust, or what would you say to such people?
Beautiful. Whenever you perform that exercise, there are 2 major outcomes. You're going to find yourself in one of both. In the first segment of people, you find that you're actually wasting time. You find that you resume at work, say 8 a.m., you start out at work, and then maybe an office friend comes in to give you a little gist. Find out that gist lasts an hour. You're still in front of your laptop. And so by the time it's lunch period, you assume you have already done work. When you look back on your day, you feel like you were busy, whereas you really were not.
You were not busy. You were actually wasting time. So this exercise is for you to do. Time management is key, even in mending walls as well, because the time you're supposed to spend doing good things, so you can spend the time relating with others, you end up wasting your time doing irrelevant things. So by the time you want to spend quality time with your family, or to do probably your work or your social impact, you find out that, you have wasted time, you do not have time for them, and then of course you now shift. So before you know what is happening, you are going to have this breakdown. You're going to have this feeling of not being loved, because people do not even understand you. You cannot even cope with life at all, because everything is just like, oh my God, how do I get this balance? Temitope, thank you so much that, we spent this quality 12, 13 minutes with you talking about work-life balance. So to our dear listeners, you just have to stick till next week. I know you are wondering that, what about attention and value? I want to appeal that let's make this session worth the while. Temitope has shown us what to do. Let us even evaluate ourselves. We are privileged to even have her. But she has given us a tip on how to manage our time by breaking it down into 2 segments. And then, of course, each segment 12. And then with the 12 segments, you do it early. And then you look back after 1 hour to see what you have done. And I know that by the time you do this, a period of time, you would adjust. So Temitope, thank you so much for having us. For spending this session with us. It's exciting. I myself is exciting. I can't wait to hear what you have to say concerning attention and value. You must tune in next week. So till you come away, it's quarter hour where the ladies come together to mend worlds and to create safe communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Quarter Hour. If you have feedback, comments, questions, or any other topics you'd like us to discuss, please call 0700-123-5010 or send a text to 0701 050 9771.